CEO, it's Stella from Studios. For 20 years, WWE sold you John Cena the superhero. What they never showed you, was how they tried to bury him first. This is the complete story of John Cena. How WWE created, destroyed, and rebuilt their greatest hero. No fluff. Just the real story. Chapter 1 starts now. The complete story of John Cena. How WWE created, destroyed, and rebuilt their greatest hero. There are many legends in WWE history. Some were bigger stars, some were better wrestlers, some were more popular for a short period of time. But no superstar has carried WWE on his shoulders longer than John Cena. For over 2 decades, Cena became the face of WWE. He was the hero children loved, the superstar who never gave up, and the man who represented everything the company wanted the world to see. Yet his story is far more complicated than most fans realize. Because John Cena wasn't always loved. In fact, there was a time when fans booed him louder than almost any wrestler in WWE. There was a time when many people believed WWE had pushed him too hard. There was a time when his popularity nearly collapsed. And somehow, after years of criticism, WWE managed to rebuild him into one of the most respected figures in wrestling history. This is the complete story of how WWE created, destroyed, and rebuilt their greatest hero. Chapter 1. Before WWE. Long before the bright lights of WrestleMania, John Felix Anthony Cena was just a kid growing up in West Newbury, Massachusetts. Born on April 23, 1977, Cena grew up in a competitive household with 4 brothers. Competition was everywhere, whether it was sports, school, or simply trying to stand out among his siblings. Young John learned early that success required hard work. Unlike many future wrestlers, Cena wasn't obsessed with professional wrestling as a child. His first love was sports. He played football and developed a passion for strength training. As a teenager, he became fascinated with bodybuilding. While most kids were spending their free time playing video games, Cena was spending hours in the gym. The weight room became his second home. His dedication eventually earned him a place at Springfield College, where he played college football and studied exercise physiology. Even back then, people noticed something different about him. He wasn't the most naturally gifted athlete. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. But he worked harder than almost everyone around him. That relentless work ethic would later become one of the defining characteristics of his entire career. After graduating from college, Cena made a decision that changed his life forever. He moved to California. The move wasn't glamorous. He had very little money. He worked odd jobs. At one point, he cleaned toilets just to survive. But California offered something Massachusetts couldn't. Opportunity. While pursuing bodybuilding, Cena discovered professional wrestling. Almost immediately, he realized that wrestling combined everything he loved. Athletic competition, physical strength, entertainment, and the chance to connect with an audience. He decided to chase the dream. A decision that would eventually transform both his life and WWE forever. Chapter 2. The Prototype. In 1999, Cena officially began training to become a professional wrestler. Like almost every future superstar, he started at the bottom. There were no sold-out arenas. No television appearances. No championship matches. Just small crowds and long drives. During his early years, Cena wrestled under the name, The Prototype. The character was unique. Instead of portraying a traditional wrestler, he played a futuristic athlete who believed he was the perfect human specimen. The gimmick allowed him to showcase his physique and athleticism while developing confidence on the microphone. More importantly, it caught the attention of WWE scouts. At the time, WWE was searching for new stars. The Attitude Era was beginning to slow down. The company needed fresh talent. And John Cena looked like someone who could eventually become a major attraction. In 2001, WWE signed him to a developmental contract. For most wrestlers, getting signed is the dream. For Cena, it was only the beginning. Because the hardest part was still ahead. He needed to prove he belonged. He needed to prove he wasn't just another muscular athlete trying wrestling. And he needed to convince WWE that he could become a superstar. At first, that wasn't easy. Many people backstage weren't convinced. Cena had the look, but did he have the personality? Could he connect with fans? Could he become the next major star? Those questions would soon be answered in dramatic fashion. Chapter 3. Ruthless Aggression. June 27, 2002. One night, one opportunity, one moment that changed wrestling history. On SmackDown, Kurt Angle issued an open challenge. Nobody stepped forward. Then a young, unknown John Cena walked onto the stage. Most fans had no idea who he was. But Cena wasn't intimidated. When Angle asked what made him special, Cena responded with 2 words. Ruthless aggression. The phrase instantly became legendary. Moments later, Cena shocked everyone by going toe-to-toe with one of the best wrestlers in the world. He didn't win, but that didn't matter. He earned respect, he earned attention, and most importantly, he earned another chance. WWE. Backstage, WWE officials suddenly saw potential. The rookie who nobody knew just weeks earlier had delivered one of the most memorable debuts in company history. The John Cena era had officially begun. But nobody knew how big he would become. Not yet, because the character that would change everything hadn't been created. And it was about to emerge completely by accident. But what happened next would change John Cena's life forever. The young rookie who had just impressed Kurt Angle was actually on the verge of being released from WWE. Yes, you heard that correctly. Despite his promising debut, many people backstage still weren't convinced John Cena had what it took to become a star. His future in the company was hanging by a thread. Then one random bus ride, one freestyle rap, and one accidental moment created a character that would completely transform his career and eventually turn him into the biggest superstar of his generation. In Part 2, we'll reveal how John Cena went from almost getting fired to becoming the Doctor of Thuganomics, the most talked about young star in WWE, and the man who was destined to replace legends like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. So if you're enjoying this complete John Cena documentary series, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for Part 2. The complete story of John Cena. Part 2. The character that saved his career. When we left off in Part 1, John Cena had just made an impressive debut against Kurt Angle. Fans were talking about him. WWE management saw potential. But behind the scenes, things weren't nearly as positive as they appeared. In fact, Cena's WWE career was in serious danger. Many people backstage felt he lacked personality. Sure, he had the look. He had the muscles. He had the athletic ability. But WWE wasn't looking for bodybuilders. They were looking for superstars. And at the time, Cena was struggling to stand out. Week after week, he appeared on television with very little direction. The crowds weren't reacting, his character wasn't connecting, and according to several stories told over the years by WWE veterans, Cena was getting dangerously close to being released. Imagine that. The man who would become the face of WWE was nearly fired before his career had even started. Then something unexpected happened. One day during a WWE tour, several wrestlers were riding together on a bus. To pass the time, they started freestyling. One wrestler after another grabbed the microphone. Then John Cena stepped up. To everyone's surprise, he started rapping. And he wasn't bad. In fact, he was really good. Several wrestlers were impressed. Among those who noticed was Stephanie McMahon. The future of Cena's career changed almost instantly. Soon afterward, WWE gave him an opportunity to bring that side of his personality onto television. And just like that, the Doctor of Thuganomics was born. The transformation was incredible. Gone was the generic rookie. In his place stood a confident, trash-talking rapper who wasn't afraid to insult anyone. Week after week, Cena delivered hilarious freestyle promos. Nobody was safe. Not legends. Not champions. Not authority figures. His sharp tongue and fearless attitude quickly made him one of the most entertaining acts in WWE. Fans loved it. For the first time, Cena wasn't trying to be someone else. He was simply turning his real-life love of hip-hop into a wrestling character. And it worked. Suddenly, audiences were paying attention. The same superstar who had struggled to connect with fans was now becoming one of the hottest young stars in the company. The Doctor of Thuganomics wasn't polished. He wasn't perfect. But he was authentic. And authenticity is powerful. As his popularity grew, WWE started giving him bigger opportunities. One of the biggest came in 2004. At WrestleMania 20, John Cena challenged the Big Show for the United States Championship. For Cena, this was more than just another match. It was a chance to prove he belonged among WWE's future main event stars. The pressure was enormous. Millions were watching. Failure wasn't an option. When the match ended, Cena had done it. He defeated the Big Show and captured his first championship on WWE's main roster. The moment was massive, not just for Cena, for WWE as well. The company finally had proof that their gamble on the young rapper was paying off. The United States Championship became the perfect platform for Cena's growth. Every week, he gained confidence. Every week, he improved. Every week, he became a bigger star. And soon, WWE executives started seeing something much bigger. They weren't looking at him as a future champion anymore. They were looking at him as the future of the entire company. At the same time, another major change was happening in WWE. The Attitude Era was over. Legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin were gone. The Rock had become a Hollywood star. The company desperately needed a new face. Someone who could carry WWE into a new generation. Someone who could sell tickets. Someone who could sell merchandise. Someone who could inspire children. Someone who could appear on television shows and represent WWE around the world. That person was becoming John Cena. By late 2004, his rise was impossible to ignore. The crowds were reacting louder. The merchandise was selling, and WWE was preparing to give him the biggest opportunity of his career. At the Royal Rumble in 2005, Cena entered the match with one goal: win, and earn a championship opportunity at WrestleMania. What happened became one of the most famous endings in Royal Rumble history. Cena and Batista accidentally eliminated each other at the exact same time. Nobody knew who had won. Even the referees were confused. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon stormed to the ring to restart the match. After the restart, Batista eventually won. But the situation created an interesting twist. Both men had become future superstars. Both men were ready for the main event. And both would soon become world champions. For Cena, the road now led directly to WrestleMania 21. Waiting for him was WWE Champion JBL, the self-proclaimed wrestling god. JBL had spent months insulting Cena and questioning whether he was worthy of the spotlight. The stage was set, the old guard versus the new generation. And on the grandest stage of them all, John Cena delivered. In front of thousands of fans, he defeated JBL and captured his first WWE Championship. The image of Cena holding the title high above his head instantly became one of the defining moments of WWE's new era. A new king had arrived. A new face of the company had been crowned. And WWE was about to build its entire future around him. But becoming the chosen hero would come with a price. Because while millions of fans loved John Cena, millions of others were about to turn against him. And what happened next would create one of the most controversial periods in WWE history. In Part 3, we'll reveal how WWE turned John Cena into the biggest superstar in wrestling, why fans suddenly started booing him, and how the company's obsession with one man nearly created a civil war among WWE audiences. Trust me, the most shocking chapter of John Cena's story is still ahead. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready for Part 3. Because the rise of John Cena was only the beginning. The backlash was about to change everything. The complete story of John Cena. Part 3. The hero fans started to hate. By 2005, John Cena had achieved what every WWE superstar dreams of. He was WWE Champion. He had defeated JBL at WrestleMania. He was selling merchandise. Kids loved him. And WWE had officially chosen him as the future of the company. For most wrestlers, this would have been the happiest period of their careers. For Cena, it was the beginning of a battle that would follow him for more than a decade. Because the higher he climbed, the more divided the WWE audience became. At first, everything seemed perfect. Cena was young, charismatic, hardworking, reliable. Most importantly, he represented exactly what WWE wanted. The company was moving away from the edgy attitude era and toward a more family-friendly product. John Cena was the perfect ambassador. He talked about hard work, respect, determination, and never giving up. The message connected with younger fans immediately. Children wore his shirts. Parents supported him. His merchandise sales exploded. Every arena was filled with kids wearing colorful Cena gear. But while children were embracing him, many older fans were starting to feel something very different. Frustration. Some believed WWE was pushing Cena too aggressively. Others missed the rebellious characters of previous eras. Many fans felt Cena was becoming too predictable. No matter how difficult the challenge seemed, he always found a way to win. No matter how badly he was beaten down, he always came back. No matter who stood across the ring from him, Cena usually left victorious. At first, the criticism was small. A few boos here, a few complaints there, but over time, it grew louder. And louder. And louder. Soon, something unusual started happening. Whenever Cena entered an arena, the crowd became split right down the middle. One side cheered, the other side booed. Sometimes the boos were so loud they nearly drowned out the cheers. Yet WWE refused to change course. The company believed Cena was exactly what they needed. And they were willing to stand behind him no matter what. In many ways, WWE was repeating history. Years earlier, the company had built around Hulk Hogan. Now they were building around John Cena. The difference was that wrestling fans had changed. The internet was becoming more influential. Fans discussed wrestling online every day. They analyzed storylines, criticized booking decisions, debated every championship match, and many believed Cena was receiving special treatment. Whether that criticism was fair or not, it became a major part of his career. But despite the backlash, Cena continued delivering in the ring. He entered legendary rivalries with some of WWE's biggest stars. One of the most important was Edge. Unlike Cena, Edge embraced being hated. He lied, cheated, manipulated, and fans loved him for it. Their rivalry created some of the most memorable moments of the era. For the first time, Cena wasn't simply facing a villain. He was facing someone many fans actually preferred. The battle between Cena and Edge helped define WWE in the mid-2000s. And it proved something important. Whether fans loved Cena or hated him, they cared. Every reaction made him more important. Every cheer made him stronger. Every boo made him more controversial. Either way, people couldn't stop talking about him. Then came another major rivalry. A rivalry that would shape Cena's legacy forever. His battles with Randy Orton. Both men had entered WWE around the same period. Both were viewed as future legends. Both were chosen as cornerstones of the company. For years, Cena and Orton would clash repeatedly. Their rivalry became one of WWE's defining stories. Some fans supported Cena, others supported Orton. The debate never seemed to end. But while rivalries helped maintain his position at the top, the criticism kept growing. By 2006 and 2007, Cena had become one of the most polarizing figures in wrestling history. Many fans respected his work ethic. Many admired his dedication, but others desperately wanted WWE to move on. The company wouldn't, because from a business perspective, Cena was succeeding. Merchandise sales remained massive. Television appearances increased. Sponsors loved him. Children adored him. And WWE trusted him more than anyone else on the roster. Behind the scenes, Cena was becoming known as the ultimate company man. He rarely caused trouble. He rarely missed appearances. He handled interviews professionally. And he represented WWE exactly the way management wanted. That trust would soon become even more important. Because WWE was entering one of the most challenging periods in its history. Several major stars had left. Others were slowing down. The company needed someone to carry the entire brand. And once again, all eyes turned toward John Cena. But then disaster struck. In October 2007, Cena suffered a serious pectoral injury. Doctors expected him to miss many months. For the first time in years, WWE had to imagine life without John Cena. The injury shocked fans. Whether they loved him or hated him, nobody could deny his importance. Suddenly, WWE's biggest star was gone. Or so everyone thought. Because what happened next became one of the most incredible comeback stories in wrestling history. Only a few months later, Cena returned far earlier than expected. The crowd erupted. Even some fans who usually booed him couldn't believe what they were seeing. His determination had once again amazed the wrestling world. It was another reminder of why WWE trusted him so much. He wasn't just talented, he was relentless. He simply refused to quit. And over the next few years, that relentless attitude would help him survive challenges that would have destroyed many other careers. But an even bigger challenge was approaching. A challenge unlike anything Cena had faced before. Because soon, a straight-edge rebel named CM Punk would ignite a movement that threatened Cena's position as WWE's top star. Fans would choose sides. The wrestling world would become divided. And one unforgettable promo would change everything. In Part 4, we'll explore the explosive rivalry between John Cena and CM Punk, the famous Pipe Bomb promo, Money in the Bank 2011, and the battle that many fans consider the defining feud of Cena's entire career. Trust me, if you think the Cena controversy has been intense so far, you haven't seen anything yet. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss Part 4. Because the war between John Cena and CM Punk is about to begin. The complete story of John Cena. Part 4. The war that changed everything. By 2011, John Cena had already conquered almost every challenge imaginable. He was a multiple-time world champion. the face of WWE, the company's biggest merchandise seller, the man trusted to carry WWE into the future. But despite all his accomplishments, something was changing. The boos were getting louder. The criticism was becoming harder to ignore. And a growing number of fans were asking one question. Was John Cena really the best wrestler in the world? Then a challenger emerged. A challenger unlike anyone Cena had ever faced. His name was CM Punk. And he was about to start a revolution. Unlike Cena, CM Punk wasn't WWE's chosen superstar. He wasn't the poster boy. He wasn't the corporate favorite. He represented something completely different. He represented the fans who felt ignored. The fans who wanted change. The fans who were tired of seeing the same faces at the top. As Punk's popularity grew, WWE audiences became increasingly divided. Some remained loyal to Cena. Others rallied behind Punk. The tension between the two men felt real. Because in many ways, it was. They represented two completely different visions of professional wrestling. John Cena represented WWE's vision. CM Punk represented the voice of dissatisfied fans. And then came one of the most famous moments in wrestling history. June 27, 2011. An episode of Monday Night Raw. CM Punk sat at the top of the entrance ramp holding a microphone. What followed became known as the pipe bomb. Punk criticized WWE. He criticized management. He criticized the way the company operated. And he openly questioned why John Cena remained the face of WWE. The promo instantly became legendary. Fans couldn't stop talking about it. For many viewers, it felt different from anything WWE had produced in years. It blurred the line between reality and storyline. And suddenly, the Cena-Punk rivalry became the hottest story in wrestling. The stage was now set for Money in the Bank 2011. The event took place in Punk's hometown of Chicago. The atmosphere was electric. Many fans believed they were witnessing something historic. According to the storyline, Punk's WWE contract was about to expire. If he defeated Cena, he could leave WWE while still holding the WWE Championship. The stakes couldn't have been higher. As the match began, the crowd overwhelmingly supported Punk. John Cena walked into one of the most hostile environments of his career. Thousands of fans booed his every move. Yet Cena remained focused. For over 30 minutes, both men delivered a performance that many consider one of the greatest WWE matches ever. Near the end, controversy struck. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon appeared at ringside. Many feared another screwjob was coming. But Cena refused to win that way. He wanted to beat Punk fairly. That decision cost him. Moments later, Punk hit the go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk defeated John Cena. The crowd exploded. Punk celebrated with the WWE Championship. Then, in one of the most memorable images in wrestling history, he left through the crowd and seemingly walked out of WWE with the title. For Cena, the loss was devastating. For years, he had been WWE's unbeatable hero. Now, the company's biggest star had been defeated on one of the biggest stages of his career. And many fans loved every second of it. Yet something important happened during this period. For perhaps the first time in years, many critics began viewing Cena differently. People started recognizing how important he was to the rivalry. Because without Cena, the story doesn't work. Without the face of WWE, there is no rebellion. Without the company's chosen hero, there is no anti-hero. Without John Cena, there is no CM Punk revolution. The rivalry elevated both men. Punk reached new heights, and Cena earned respect from many fans who had previously dismissed him. But the battle wasn't over. Over the next several months, the two superstars continued their war. They traded victories. traded championships, and delivered memorable promos and matches. Every encounter felt important, every confrontation felt personal, and every appearance generated excitement. The rivalry became one of WWE's defining stories of the modern era. Yet while Cena was battling Punk, another threat was quietly approaching. A threat from the past. A threat bigger than any championship. A threat bigger than any rivalry. Because after years away from WWE, one of the biggest stars in wrestling history was preparing to return. The man who had once been the face of WWE. The man many considered the most charismatic performer ever. The man Hollywood had turned into a global superstar. The Rock. When The Rock returned, everything changed. For years, fans had debated who was the true face of WWE. Now they were about to get an answer. And for John Cena, the challenge would be unlike anything he had ever faced. Not because The Rock was younger. Not because The Rock wrestled more often. But because The Rock was the one superstar who could rival Cena's star power. The collision was inevitable. The dream match was coming. And the result would shape John Cena's legacy forever. In Part 5, we'll reveal how John Cena battled The Rock in one of the biggest matches in wrestling history, suffered one of the most painful defeats of his career, and eventually began the process of rebuilding his reputation among fans. Trust me, the next chapter contains some of the most emotional moments of John Cena's entire journey. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready for Part 5. Because the war with CM Punk may have changed John Cena, but the battle with The Rock would redefine him forever. The complete story of John Cena. Part 5. Falling, Fighting, and Rebuilding. When we left off in Part 4, John Cena had survived the biggest challenge of his career so far. His war with CM Punk had changed how many fans viewed him. For years, critics had claimed Cena was protected, that he couldn't wrestle, that he was simply WWE's favorite. But after his incredible matches with Punk, many people began seeing another side of John Cena. A side built on determination. A side built on consistency. A side built on hard work. Unfortunately for Cena, an even bigger test was waiting. Because one of the greatest superstars in WWE history had returned. The Rock. For younger fans, The Rock was a Hollywood megastar. For older fans, he was one of the biggest wrestling stars of all time. And now he was back. The moment The Rock returned in 2011, the wrestling world exploded. Suddenly, everyone was talking about one match. John Cena versus The Rock. It was a dream match. The face of WWE's past versus the face of WWE's present. The match was announced a full year before WrestleMania 28. An entire year. That had never happened before. For 12 months, anticipation continued to grow. Promos became more intense. Interviews became more personal. The rivalry felt different, because unlike most storylines, there was real tension underneath the surface. Both men believed they represented WWE. Both believed they were the company's biggest star. And both wanted to prove it. As WrestleMania 28 approached, Cena was confident. For years, he had carried WWE. He had survived criticism. He had survived injuries. He had survived hostile crowds. Now he wanted to defeat the one man many fans still considered the greatest entertainer in wrestling history. Then the match happened. The atmosphere was unbelievable. The crowd knew they were witnessing history. Millions around the world were watching. Every move felt important. Every near fall increased the tension. And then came the moment that changed everything. Near the end of the match, Cena made a mistake. Instead of focusing on victory, he tried to mock The Rock. He attempted The Rock's signature move. It backfired. The Rock capitalized. One rock bottom later, the match was over. John Cena lost. Just like that, The face of WWE had been defeated on the biggest stage possible. The image of Cena sitting devastated in the ring became one of the defining moments of his career. For perhaps the first time in years, he looked vulnerable, human, broken. The loss haunted him. Fans talked about it for months. Critics celebrated, supporters were shocked, and Cena himself seemed deeply affected. The defeat wasn't just another loss. It was a personal failure. For an entire year, he had prepared for one match. And he came up short. But if there's one thing we've learned about John Cena, it's this. He doesn't stay down for long. Instead of running from the loss, Cena confronted it. He acknowledged it. He accepted it. And he became obsessed with redemption. That redemption story would dominate the next year of his career. Throughout 2012, Cena fought to earn another opportunity against The Rock. The road wasn't easy. He experienced setbacks. Criticism continued. The pressure remained enormous. Yet he refused to quit. Eventually, he won the 2013 Royal Rumble. The victory guaranteed him another championship opportunity. And fate had a sense of humor. Because The Rock was now WWE Champion, the rematch was officially set. WrestleMania 29, 1 year after the most painful loss of Cena's career. This time, everything felt different. Cena wasn't trying to prove he was better than The Rock. He was trying to prove something to himself. At WrestleMania 29, he finally achieved redemption. After another hard-fought battle, Cena defeated The Rock and captured the WWE Championship. The victory was enormous, not because he beat The Rock, but because he conquered the failure that had haunted him for an entire year. Many athletes talk about overcoming adversity. Cena actually did it. He experienced public disappointment. He faced criticism. He endured humiliation. And then he fought his way back to the top. Yet something unexpected happened after WrestleMania 29. Many fans who had spent years criticizing Cena began respecting him more. Not necessarily cheering him, not necessarily loving him, but respecting him. People started recognizing how difficult his position had been. For nearly a decade, WWE had asked him to carry the company. Night after night, year after year, without excuses, without breaks, without complaining. Very few performers in wrestling history had handled that responsibility as successfully as Cena. But his body was beginning to pay the price. Years of punishment were taking their toll. Injuries became more frequent, recovery became more difficult, and for the first time, people started wondering how much longer Cena could maintain his incredible pace. Still, he continued working, continued performing, continued delivering. No matter what challenge appeared, Cena kept showing up. That commitment slowly began changing public opinion. The same fans who once booed him relentlessly were beginning to appreciate his dedication. The rebuilding process had started. And it wasn't happening because WWE forced it. It was happening because Cena earned it. One match at a time. One performance at a time. 1 year at a time. Yet the most surprising chapter of his career was still ahead. Because soon, Cena would stop focusing entirely on championships. Instead, he would use his position to elevate younger talent, to create opportunities for rising stars. And in the process, he would produce some of the best matches of his entire career. A new generation was arriving. And John Cena was about to prove he could still hang with every single one of them. In Part 6, we'll explore the legendary United States Open Challenge, Cena's unforgettable battles with Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles, and how he transformed from WWE's most controversial superstar into one of its most respected veterans. Trust me, the John Cena story is about to take another unexpected turn. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready for Part 6. Because the rebuilding of John Cena is only just beginning. The complete story of John Cena. Part 6. The workhorse WHO changed the game. After years at the very top of WWE, John Cena entered a phase of his career that nobody expected. He was no longer chasing constant main event glory. He was no longer defending his position as the face of WWE every single week. Instead, something unusual happened. John Cena began focusing on something bigger than himself. And in doing so, he created one of the most respected runs of his entire career. By 2015, Cena had already done it all. World Championships, WrestleMania main events, legendary rivalries, record-breaking merchandise sales. But WWE was changing. A new generation of superstars was rising. Names like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and AJ Styles were beginning to define a new era of wrestling. And instead of stepping aside completely, Cena made a decision that shocked many people. He decided to fight them all. One by one, week after week, on live television. No shortcuts, no protection, no easy wins. This became known as the United States Championship Open Challenge. Every week on Monday Night Raw, Cena would come out holding the US title and do something simple. He would ask for a challenger. No scripts announcing the opponent in advance. No long build-up storylines. Just pure competition. And what followed became one of the most exciting weekly segments in modern WWE history. Because anyone could show up. And they did. Some were rising stars looking for their breakout moment. Others were already established names trying to prove they still belonged. And Cena treated every single match like it mattered. This run changed how many fans saw him. For years, critics said Cena only worked with approved opponents or was protected by WWE booking. But now, he was putting himself in the ring with hungry, dangerous, and often unpredictable challengers. And the results shocked people. Some nights, Cena won. Other nights, he barely survived. But every match elevated someone new. One of the most unforgettable moments came when Kevin Owens debuted on the main roster. Owens wasn't introduced quietly. He walked straight into a United States title open challenge and destroyed John Cena in his very first major WWE match. No respect, no hesitation, just impact. He pinned Cena clean. 1, 2, 3. It sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. For Cena, it was a rare clean loss on television. For Owens, it was a career-making victory. And for WWE, it proved the Open Challenge wasn't just a gimmick. It was a platform that could create new stars instantly. But Cena didn't stop. He didn't complain. He didn't disappear. He came back the next week and kept going. That pattern continued as more wrestlers stepped up. Sami Zayn delivered a classic performance despite being injured. Cesaro nearly broke Cena's limits in a physical, brutal match. Neville brought speed and athleticism that pushed Cena to adapt. Each week, Cena proved he could still perform at an elite level. Not just as a superstar, but as a standard. The Open Challenge became more than just matches. It became a statement. John Cena was no longer just WWE's top guy. He was becoming the benchmark every new wrestler had to measure themselves against. Then came another turning point. AJ Styles, a global wrestling star who had built his reputation outside WWE, Styles represented everything fans wanted to see inside the company. Fast-paced wrestling, technical excellence, unpredictability. When Styles finally faced Cena, it felt like a clash of eras and styles. And the matches delivered. They traded victories. They pushed each other to the limit. And in the process, Cena proved something important again. He could adapt. He could evolve. He could still hang with the very best in the world. But while Cena was proving himself inside the ring, something else was happening outside of it. His role in WWE was slowly changing. He was no longer the constant main event centerpiece. Injuries and Hollywood commitments began limiting his schedule. But instead of fading away, Cena began transitioning into something different. A veteran leader, a mentor, a part-time attraction who still delivered when it mattered most. Fans began noticing a shift. The boos were still there in some arenas. But something new appeared too. Respect. Not forced respect, earned respect. Because people started realizing what Cena had done for over a decade. He showed up when others couldn't. He carried WWE through injuries, roster changes, and entire eras. He worked more matches than almost anyone at the top level. And he rarely asked for credit. By the end of this run, Cena had achieved something rare in wrestling. He had survived being overexposed. He had survived being rejected by fans. And he had survived the pressure of being WWE's constant main event star. And instead of breaking him, it rebuilt him. But Cena's journey was not finished yet. Because while he was earning respect in WWE, a completely different path was opening for him outside the ring. Hollywood, movies, television, and a new identity that would transform him from wrestling superstar into global celebrity. The next chapter of his life would take him further than anyone expected. And it would permanently change how the world saw John Cena. In Part 7, we'll explore Cena's transition into Hollywood, his rise as a movie star, his limited but impactful WWE returns, and how he became one of the most recognizable faces in entertainment history. Because the story of John Cena is no longer just about wrestling. It's about evolution, and the final form of John Cena is closer than ever. The complete story of John Cena. Part 7. The shift from WWE icon to global star. By the mid-2010s, John Cena's career was no longer just about WWE. Something much bigger was happening. While he was still stepping into a WWE ring when needed, Cena was slowly transitioning into a completely different world. Hollywood. And unlike many wrestlers before him, Cena's transition didn't happen overnight. It was built step by step. Early on, Cena had already tested the waters with small acting roles in WWE Studios films like The Marine. At the time, many fans didn't take it seriously. Wrestling stars going to Hollywood had a mixed history. Some succeeded, many failed, but Cena kept improving. He learned how to act, how to deliver comedy, how to handle interviews outside wrestling, and most importantly, how to reinvent his image beyond the wrestling ring. Then everything started to change. Cena began landing bigger roles in mainstream films. At first, he was still known as the WWE guy in movies. But over time, that label started to disappear. His performance in comedies surprised audiences. Movies like Trainwreck showed a completely different side of him. Instead of the intense, serious WWE Champion, fans saw a charismatic, self-aware, and surprisingly funny performer. People who had never watched wrestling began recognizing him. Then came even bigger roles, blockbusters, franchise films, and eventually, one of his most defining projects outside WWE. The Fast and Furious series. In that moment, Cena officially crossed into global mainstream entertainment. He was no longer just a wrestler acting in movies. He was a Hollywood actor who also happened to be a wrestling legend. At the same time, his WWE schedule changed dramatically. He was no longer appearing every week. Instead, he became a part-time attraction. A special attraction for major events, big matches, major WrestleMania appearances, and carefully chosen storylines. But even in limited appearances, Cena still delivered. When he returned, it mattered. When he spoke, fans listened. When he wrestled, it felt like an event. One of the most important parts of this era was how Cena handled younger talent. Instead of demanding the spotlight, he often used his time to elevate others. He put over rising stars. He worked with new faces. And he helped bridge the gap between generations. This included unforgettable matches and moments that reminded fans why he was once the center of WWE. But something deeper was happening behind the scenes. The audience that once booed him so loudly was changing. Time had passed. New stars had risen. New eras had begun. And slowly, the emotions around Cena began to shift. The hatred softened. The frustration faded. And something unexpected replaced it. Appreciation. Fans started looking back at his career differently. They began to understand the pressure he carried. They realized how consistent he had been. And they recognized that WWE would not be what it is today without him. Cena's image was transforming in real time. From controversial champion, to respected veteran, to global ambassador of WWE. Outside wrestling, his reputation reached another level entirely. One of the most remarkable parts of Cena's real-life legacy is his record-breaking involvement with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Over the years, he granted more wishes than any other celebrity in history. This wasn't a storyline. This wasn't scripted. It was real, and it became one of the most defining parts of who John Cena is as a person. While movies made him famous, and WWE made him a superstar, his actions outside entertainment made him respected worldwide. By the late 2010s and early 2020s, Cena had achieved something rare. He successfully balanced two worlds. WWE legend, Hollywood actor, global humanitarian figure. But even then, fans still wondered one thing. Would he ever return full-time? The answer was no, but something even more meaningful was happening instead. When Cena did return, it wasn't about proving dominance anymore. It was about moments, surprises, legacy matches, and passing the torch. His appearances became less frequent, but far more impactful. Each return felt like a celebration of everything he had accomplished. And as his WWE presence slowed down, something became clear. John Cena was no longer just a wrestler. He was a living legacy. A symbol of an entire era of WWE. And yet, the final chapter of his wrestling journey was still unwritten. Because the story wasn't over. Not even close. In Part 8, we'll explore John Cena's final evolution. His farewell era, his greatest matches, his record-breaking legacy, the emotional reactions from fans who once booed him, and the final answer to the question. Was John Cena truly WWE's greatest hero? And how did the world finally come to appreciate him? The end is coming, and it will be unforgettable. The complete story of John Cena. Part 8. The legacy of a once-in-a-generation hero. Every story eventually reaches its final chapter. For John Cena, that chapter was never going to be simple. Because unlike most WWE legends who slowly fade away, Cena's final era became one of the most emotional and talked about periods in wrestling history. By the 2020s, Cena was no longer a full-time performer. His schedule was limited, his appearances were special, and every time he stepped into a WWE ring, the entire world paid attention. Not because he was the youngest. Not because he was the strongest. But because he represented something larger than wrestling itself. A full generation of WWE history. When Cena returned for major events, fans reacted differently than they once did. The boos that defined the mid-2000s had softened. In many arenas, they were replaced with something else. Respectful cheers, nostalgia, even gratitude. Because time had changed perspective. Fans who once grew up booing Cena were now adults looking back at his career with new understanding. They saw the consistency. They saw the dedication. They saw the sacrifices. And most importantly, they saw what WWE might have lost without him. Cena's later WWE appearances were not about dominance anymore. They were about moments. One of the most powerful aspects of this era was Cena's willingness to elevate others. He didn't need championships anymore. He didn't need to prove he was the best. Instead, he focused on making moments for younger stars and giving them matches they would never forget. Every appearance became a passing of the torch in some form. At the same time, Cena continued building his legacy outside wrestling. His Hollywood career reached new heights, especially with major roles in blockbuster franchises and his global success in film and television. He became one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. Not just a wrestler, not just an actor, but a global brand. And yet, despite all of that success, WWE remained a core part of his identity. When he returned for special matches, it still felt like an event. A moment in time, a reminder of an era when he carried the entire company on his back. But the final years of his wrestling journey brought something even more powerful. Closure. Cena's final major WWE appearances were not about championship glory. They were about finishing stories that defined his career. Facing younger stars, closing chapters with old rivals, and giving fans one last chance to see him inside the ring. Every match carried emotional weight, because everyone knew time was running out. The man who once debuted as an unknown rookie against Kurt Angle had become one of the most important figures in professional wrestling history. And now, he was slowly stepping away. But before leaving, Cena achieved something very few wrestlers ever do. He changed how he was remembered. For years, he was the most polarizing superstar in WWE. Loved by children, hated by many adults, criticized online, defended by loyal fans. But in the end, the story came full circle. The same fans who once shouted, "Cena sucks," began to chant his name with appreciation. Not because he changed who he was, but because time revealed what he had always been. A professional who never stopped showing up. A performer who carried WWE through difficult eras. A competitor who never gave less than 100%. And a human being whose impact extended far beyond wrestling. Today, John Cena's legacy stands on multiple pillars. He is a multi-time world champion, a WrestleMania main eventer, a Hollywood star, a record-breaking Make-A-Wish contributor, and one of the most influential figures in WWE history. But perhaps his greatest achievement is something less tangible. He survived being misunderstood. He survived being rejected. And he survived being doubted. Only to be respected in the end. So when we ask the question, did WWE create, destroy, and rebuild their greatest hero? The answer is not simple. Because John Cena was never truly destroyed. He was challenged. He was criticized. He was tested like few others in wrestling history. But through it all, he remained. And in doing so, he became something even bigger than WWE's greatest hero. He became its standard, its symbol of resilience, its bridge between generations, and its most enduring legacy. The story of John Cena is not just about wrestling. It is about evolution, endurance, and becoming something greater than the role you were given. And in the end, whether you cheered him or booed him, you could never ignore him. Because John Cena was never just a superstar. He was WWE's era. And that era will never be forgotten. Thank you, John Cena. This is Stella from Star Talk Studios. CEO, you just watched 20 years of Cena in 60 minutes. The story WWE never told you, now you own it. We don't do parts. We do the whole truth. Thank you for watching Star Talk Studios.